Hello ladies and gentlemen, Yessik Ziiq here again today to bring you Star Citizen again. It's been a little while, but essentially I logged in, I meant to do some dogfighting for you guys, and then I realized I completely suck compared to everybody else. So this series I'm going to call Becoming a Better Pilot. So I'm sitting here today on a racing course in the M50, which I will quickly show off here for you. So as you can see, it is a nice little racing ship. I'm going to be cycling through a bunch of different ships here, just in order to kind of give you a look around, see exactly what it is. You might notice the detail on the M50 is great. Like, they actually have this kind of this break-proof glass here that has the engine and the engine name invisible through it. I think it is a very nice looking ship. Unfortunately, I do not own this one personally, but that is alright. So that's what I'm currently hanging out inside of. And I am going to race around the track, do about 1 lap just to show you what controls I have set up currently, and then 5 laps in order to set a time, which I will time myself since the lap function doesn't seem to be working yet in the game as it is. But essentially I'm going to show you what I've managed to do on my own, how well I've managed to practice, and then I'm going to take tips from you guys, because I want to become a better pilot and I don't know how to. So I'm going to take the best tips or the easiest tips to remember, or just a few of the tips that I think are the most relevant, and I'm going to take them, practice them, tell you exactly what they were on the next episode, and show you how much it has improved my time to practice them. And I might live stream these practice sessions, I might not, depends on what I do, and eventually I'm hoping to become a top tier pilot in this game. So let's get this started. I just have to press X to get ready. As you can see, the race time and the lap time is at the top, but since I don't seem to be able to end it, I won't be using the lap time. So I just want to very quickly, I want to very quickly show you what I have set up in terms of controls. So I actually have strafing controls set up. Here, I want to show you that. You can see the little vents working on the side there. So I have this set up to strafe up and down. That is a little hat there. Oh, can I actually land? Oh, look at that. When I get close enough to the ground, it automatically lands. Hey, I've landed. Okay, that is actually kind of interesting. I might have accidentally damaged the ship there. I have, of course, my throttle set up as you would expect it to be set up. Forward to go forward, back to not go forward. Everything here is currently kind of unimportant. This is just for steering. Some people actually have it set up so that this turns their ship left to right, pitches and yaws it, but I have this set up as a roll to be slightly more realistic. Unfortunately, I don't have pedals, so my actual yaw, or no, I forget what they're all called now. This is pitch. Yeah, and this is my actual yaw. So I would like to have pedals for this, but instead I just have my Z-axis on this controller. So I turn the controller and I get steered. So that's alright. My decoupling mode, which I'm not going to be using in racing, is this top button right up here. And everything else is set up pretty simply for weapons. So you guys don't need to know that. Let's get back into the viewpoint of the ship. There we go. And see how well I do. This first lap I'm not going to count. I'm going to stop at the starting line again in the future and show you how I do. So I've been practicing on my own a tiny bit, and by a tiny bit I mean pretty much yesterday, and I've gotten pretty good at completing the course and barely dying at all. Now, to me, barely dying is not the ideal way of getting through a course. Ideally, I'd like to not die ever and, improve my speed over time. So there's one thing I've neglected to tell you. I actually have an afterburners button on this controller, and I use that to adjust my direction. So if I want to do a power slide, for lack of a better word, around a corner, I turn my ship and I just kind of drift, and then use the the afterburner button to actually very quickly make changes in course. I'm not sure if that's proper, but it seems to be doing me pretty well here. Another thing is I tend to get a bit confused about orientation during these. As you can see, I am currently blacking out. You can also red out. And blacking out entirely is a very bad thing because you do lose consciousness and then drift and then wake up later. And in the meantime, you're accelerating in a direction. I don't know if there's any safeties in place. And here's the hard part for me. I can very rarely make it into here. I may actually have to use the space brakes. There we go. So now I'm going to start timing myself. That first lap was 3 minutes. This I think is the start line right there. So, I've gotten this. I have my own timer here. I'm now going to focus a tiny bit more, and I'm going to do 5 laps total. So I just have to be, well, I'll be able to count out 5 laps. So I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, start. Now let's see how quickly I can do this. I accidentally just strafed there. I very rarely use my strafing in the actual racing, although I do think it would probably help me. Oh no! I've already screwed up horribly. Okay, well that was not such a grand start, but that's alright. You can see it's actually trying to lead me up here. I've ended up too low because I had to readjust so drastically to actually get through the first checkpoint there, or the second checkpoint as it were. Was that the first or the second? I think that was the second. I can't imagine myself screwing up the first checkpoint quite that badly. So this one, the best course I've found through this area here is basically up around that first sign and directly through the middle. If anyone sees a better course, I think a part of a race is actually knowing the course and being able to take any shortcuts that are good. Like this one right here. So you can see a fairly good time through that checkpoint because I managed to get myself pretty close to all the buildings. And this is to the best of my ability, the best course I could find. I realize there's probably some people who are very good at racing and very good at mapping, and maybe some closer courses that I could take that are pretty good. So I think that maybe what I should do is strafe into here, use a strafing key to actually get centered. Then I can actually use my afterburners through there. I never even considered that when I was practicing earlier. So the really hard line here is, oh, right through there. As you can see, I screwed that up really badly. I do lose time on that. I'm not sure exactly how much. I at least lose distance, right? So I can clip those trees, I've learned. But maybe that line is just too risky for me. And by the way, when I speak in racing terms, like racing lines are a real thing, like NASCAR lines, different types of racing have different lines. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I apologize if I offend anyone or if my terminology is off. And in all honesty, I don't know that much terminology to begin with, so pretty much line is all I have. It's all I ask of you, so I should probably be actually using the strafing more often. That seems really useful to kind of adjust my course. So I'm gonna go back for this really tough little break here. You can see that actually leads me to redding out fairly, or pretty close to redding out anyways. And in through there. I'm actually approaching a bit of a hard time here because I have not leveled out, and the next area is back through the lap area. And you have to be very accurate through the lap because it is super tough. There we go. So I'm actually turning on my afterburners through this, and I made it. That is as surprising to me as it is to you. 1:27. My best lap time so far, I think, has been 1:22. So I'm fairly proud of that. And then the best way through here, as far as I know, is to essentially drift around this entire corner and then back up to here. I actually did use my strafing function there in order to lower myself a tiny bit. I find it very hard. I can give commentary over a lot of things. Giving commentary over myself racing, a bit of an issue, I've got to admit. Okay, so I can essentially just speed through here as much as possible. I should learn to use my strafing more than my steering. If I have my steering centered, I should strafe to get into a good position to use it. So I didn't pull up quick enough here, so this line is going to be quite tough to make. There we go. And I maybe even lost time there. I could black out here if I'm unlucky, but I'm not unlucky. Now let's try to straighten out very quickly. Lovely. You might notice the controls are very, very tight, very minimal movement. I should maybe adjust the dead zones on my controller here. Oh! So what happened there is I was actually trying to strafe upwards in order to actually get into this, when I actually should have been adjusting my course entirely instead of just strafing in order to correct for it. I guess that's what I get for trying to learn a new skill on camera. Oh, I hit the tiniest of poles. This is embarrassingly bad. Okay, I'm gonna take the very, very safe line here. So that was 2 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So this is my 3rd. I've been actually kind of forgetting to keep track of them. During the heat of a race, it's quite hard to be like, which lap am I on? Unless you have some sort of visual indicator. I guess this is my 5th lap. So after this, I need to be doing one more, since my first lap was very much just explaining how I'm going to be doing this type of thing. Excellent. So straight down through here, and then pull up immediately in order to make it through this nice little gap here. I really do like that line. It seems really challenging, or it looks really impressive, but it's not actually that impressive. What is kind of a problem right now is the amount of blood rushing away from my head, apparently. No, that's hard enough when you just have the visual thing going on. I can only imagine how hard that is for real pilots, so I like to decelerate a bit through here generally in order to get the line properly, and then maybe I can make it through. Oh, that long tunnel is harder than it looks, because you need to be very, very precise. Like, getting through these hoops, super easy when you think about it, because all you really need to do is... Sorry, that is... No, what's going on? Why am I drifting? Am I damaged? I didn't hit anything there, so I don't know why I was drifting so badly. I usually do a bit better through that. Moving through these hoops is no problem since they're so thin, but moving through that big... I'm going the wrong way. Oh, hell, I'm going the wrong way. No! So my problem there was I actually saw a checkpoint, and I was like, oh, I better be going to that. And I didn't pay attention to the course, which wants me to go way the hell down here. So far, kind of a mind-numbingly horrible first video of this, I've gotta say. And I don't even remember which lap this is, and I often cannot see the lap since it is actually on my heads-up display here. Okay, let's go quickly around this corner. That was not good. Basically did that all in order to avoid dying there. By the way, in fiction in the game right now, I'm in a simulator, so that's why I can respawn. I'm not sure if they're going to make all races in simulators in the future. That was embarrassingly bad. That was embarrassingly bad. Wow. Believe it or not, this is mostly my nerves showing. Another problem I seem to have is that my stick rotates because it's not like nailed down or anything. If somebody knows of a product that I can use to just kind of have it a bit more firmly on the table, that'd be a nice thing to tell me. So let's try to do one lap without any deaths here. I find that in racing, they often encourage the drivers not to just die, which to me seems like it just makes racing a lot less exciting, and that it should be like a full contact sport. Of course, I am joking here, and drivers dying in car accidents during racing is horribly tragic. And I apologize to anybody who I might have offended just there. Okay, so I can't say I'm doing good in terms of time here, but I am doing fairly well in terms of not dying and playing it fairly safe. Unfortunately, I kind of had to stop using my afterburners there, and I hate this part, especially when I have a bad angle through that hoop back there. Okay, so I actually had to stop using my afterburners there because it was redding me out, which is never somewhere you want to be. So I'm gonna strafe down here a tiny bit just to get a better line through there, and then perfect line through and stop. So I actually did 6 laps there. I'm on my 8th lap, so I did 7 laps, so I did 6, yeah. I did 6 laps. My total time was 8 minutes. So that is like a minute 10 per lap? Yeah, 1:10 per lap. That seems about wrong. 8 minutes, did I only do 5 laps through there? I think I probably only did 5 laps. This is an awkward screen to stop on, so let's actually head back to the hangar for now. So that is where my flying is currently at. If anybody wants to give me tips, that is pretty much what I'm doing this series for. Specifically a product tip so I don't end up with my steering hand way over here. Would be nice. Something to keep these firm. I know they have screw holes in them, so I could put bolts on the bottom of this table and keep them firmly in place, but I use this table for other things. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And if you have any advice, please leave it below in the comments. Or if you are on the Star Citizen forums where I'm planning on posting this, leave it in the post because I could really use the tips. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.